The Sweet 16 Bombs edition of the Bottom Line Bombs on the Sports Gaming Podcast Network is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform. It's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com. That's KUTT.com. Use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy Play. Their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100 times the NBA, MLB, NHL, college basketball, and more. Sign up today using promo code BOMBS to get a 100% deposit match. Also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bet, sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app. Visit the HFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And with that, we are back in the studio. Oh, here comes some eyeballs. So now you got a theme song. I like that theme. I want to keep playing that theme. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I never said that, ladies and gentlemen. Why did I say that? I say C-Generates. That's what I say. Welcome, C-Generates, to the Bottom Line Bombs. I am your host, CJ Sullivan, the bet detective, the man in the box. With a gross snot right there. Back in the studio. It's a busy day. I had to come in the studio for this one. The scheduling lined up there. And yes, we are live. And well, long time listener Stephen A. back in the studio. Thank you, Stephen A. Appreciate it. Love the show, he says. You'll get a bomb. How about that, Stephen A.? Long time listener gets a bomb. Yeah, it is back. It is nice to be back in the studio. Get the background there, all the nonsense in there. You know what I mean? Of course, we have schedule. We have Vegas and all that. But today's such a big day. It's opening day in baseball. I got the Phillies cap on. I did a special surprise baseball show yesterday for opening day in my futures. I had to get it out there real quick. And I was proud of you, C-Generates, for joining in live. I just threw that out there, and you guys jumped in. It was great. Also, Sweet 16 tonight. This is what tonight's going to be, the Sweet 16 Bombs show. I will break down, give bombs for all 8 games. Last year, I went 8-0. Just trying to give you a heads up what you're dealing with when you come in with the bet detective. Man in the box. Famously went 8-0 last year in the Sweet 16. It was famous because I made a clip of it and put it out there to tout myself. That's how famous it was. But yeah, so a lot going on today. Bad scheduling, to be honest with you. only baseball would put their opening day, it's day and night with March Madness. You could have waited until next week. We don't need a March 28th game. Full slate of March 28th games. Games are already getting canceled. It's freezing. Dome team is playing dome team. The basketball scheduling is not any better either. There's 4 games tonight, of course. 2 in LA. 2 in Boston. The Illinois Iowa State is the late game, but it starts off at 10:15. What are they doing? 10:15 Eastern tip for college kids. These kids have class in the morning. What are you doing? Yeah, men are just not good at scheduling. The women's schedule is great. If you like the ladies' schedule, ladies know how to plan. That's why men don't know how to schedule. We don't know what's going on. Where it's like, whatever, just bring a ball, we'll play. Women like itineraries. They like plans. They don't like willy nilly. They say they like spontaneity, but they don't. They don't even want the plan. They want you to make the plan. I'm just getting into a fucking man versus woman. They want you to make the plans, but then but they also want to have control of the plans. They're a fickle little creature, these women. Anyway, yeah, the women know what they're doing though with their schedule. Friday nights, it's all fine. Caitlin Clark, that was a big story, huh? Caitlin Clark. Yes, Arbo. We almost got that money line. West Virginia. She says thanks for that lady cover for West Virginia to cover over Iowa. Easy cover, but that was a close game. It was tied up a couple minutes to go. We had the money line plus 790, just a little sprinkle, but we hit 14.5. That was a big story yesterday. Ice Cube, it leaked. TMZ leaked that the Ice Cube offered Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three, which is his 3-on-3 old veteran basketball league. I love how he came out. I was want to wait till afterwards. So she's playing for the championship, but since it's out there, I wonder how it got out there. Ice Cube. How did TMZ get a hold of that scoop? Like they're fucking ever like they gave a. I mean, whatever. Anyway, $5 million is a lot, especially when her salary for the WNBA will be $70,000. And I heard a few lady reporters saying they shouldn't take it because it demeans, the women's game, and she's growing the women's game, and like it's a novelty thing, which I'm sure there's a solid point to that. But also, $5 million is $5 million. And why can't she play both? Playing the Big Three and the WNBA. How committed do you have to be to playing the Big Three? I imagine you show up, you hand out some sneakers to little girls out of your trunk, and you go play against I don't know, Cliff Levingston or whoever I don't even know who's in this Big Three. They have hilarious players on there. Remember when Allen Iverson was the big signing, and then Ice Cube realized real quick, you don't sign Allen Iverson anything important because he's not going to show up. That was great. So Caitlin Clark, do both. Who cares? They'll let you get off a couple shots, They play, speaking of which, let's see when they do play and their good schedule. They have a Friday morning game. I like that. Friday afternoon, because their tournament is, what's funny about the ladies' schedule? Their tournament, it does coincide with the men's March Madness, but it's usually a day after, whatever. And then their WNBA draft is like the very next day after the championship. So when they're getting like champagne poured on them for winning the title, confetti, and then they have to declare right there if they're coming back or not. We need to know. We do impulse shopping. Draft is at 8 a.m. Let's go. Saturday, I'll do a couple of ladies. Caitlin Clark, they're laying 7 to Colorado. I mean, that one I'm not too sure of. I'll tell you what, Iowa didn't shoot as well. The lady didn't hit their lady threes. I don't want to go against them again. I will go against that LSU though. I'm going to fade the Kim Mulkeys. I want to take UCLA plus the points. And I think in an upset that even though we all want LSU Iowa to play, I say UCLA is on a mission. The Lady Bruins take out the Lady Tiger.
It ain't gonna work, buddy.
Kim Mulkey doesn't believe. The Kim Mulkey does not believe that it's going to happen. You don't think it's a distraction? I say you lose to UCLA.
It ain't gonna work, buddy.
Oh man, I could listen to that soundbite all the time. Anyway, play both. What was I saying, Caitlin Clark? So weird with the baseball. Kim Mulkey, I just love when she's just like, nope. Our girls didn't even know. Our girls didn't even know I had that speech. They're not distracted. What the hell are you talking about? Everyone saw it. You know how the internet, how the world works now? Kim Mulkey. If you're trending, your players saw it. They're not hiding in a fucking basement. Anyway, but it is great to be back here. Oh, I forgot to. I should have. I'm already out of sorts right here. I was supposed to do a quick little SGPN promo for the network. Now that I'm back in the studio, of course, you're listening to the Bottom Line Bombs on SGPN, home to 20 plus gambling podcasts, all completely free. Incredible. In honor of March Madness, this week's featured shows are the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, the flagship one, SGPN, hosted by Ryan Real Money Kramer and Sean Stacking the Money Green, where the guys have picked every tournament game against the spread since 2012. And, of course, the College Basketball Experience with Colby Dant, a.k.a. Picks Dundee, who I do a show with, Picks Down Under, which will be tomorrow. I also do a UFL football gaming podcast with Dundee and J Mark from Old Fashioned Football. But the College Basketball Experience, him and Moneyline Mac and producer Noah B, they continue their unmatched coverage of college basketball betting. They are pretty great. They during the season, they break down every single game at night and have an opinion on all of them. It's very impressive. I could not do that because I am not as sicko as them. I'm a sicko in different ways. We all have our different sicko ways. So subscribe today to the Sports Gambling Podcast and the College Basketball Experience, wherever you get your podcasts. And you know what? Why don't you fucking also subscribe to me, the Bottom Line Bombs, host with CJ Sullivan, his own feed. And get my baseball show. See, my baseball, if you're listening to the College Basketball Experience right now, which the show's on, you will know that I put out a separate episode for MLB openers. Opening day, I gave out some bombs on that one and some futures. Had my Ohtani talk, which I can't get enough of. Who knows about doing an NBA one? Tell you what, I was on the Clippers last night, and I was sick to my stomach. -6 versus Philly, and Philly's my team. It was a bad spot for Philly, but the Sixers should have won. These Clippers are a mess. I don't know if you saw it, but the refs totally screwed Philly over. And there was a thing at the end where Oubre got fouled. And that was one of many terrible things that happened down the stretch with those refs. So last play of the game, Oubre goes up for the layup, gets fouled by Paul George, no call. Here's anarchy. Clippers win by 1. Nick Nurse is yelling at the refs. Kelly Oubre comes by and just does Europe, goes to each ref, points right in their face. It was kind of funny. You're a bitch. Fuck you. It's like that scene in is that How High when he's getting fired? He's like, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you. And so he's just going to each ref. You're a bitch. He's like, calm. You're a bitch. You're also a bitch. Maxey was right next to him, like dying laughing. They don't care. None of these players give a shit. That's what's kind of hilarious about this thing. That being said, and then of course the post-game press conference, they have to apologize. That's what I hate about this thing. And I know it's loser talk to say the refs cost you the game. To say it never comes down to one call, but it does. It comes down to one call. I wish they would just say, here's my fine. Pay these refs more and just to let them take the abuse and not the fine. Whatever it is, whatever you got to do. But it'd be more fun if Nick Nurse could just come out, or Kelly Oubre, and just say, yes, it came down to one bad call. The ref cost us the game. The reason why we lost is because he didn't call a foul. They admitted later that it should have been a foul, by the way. But yeah, no, it's because of them. It had nothing to do with us. We played just fine. They screwed us. But they'll never say that. Anyway. I love when the refs admit, yep, should have been a call, should have been a foul. Great. It's very helpful. Yeah, no, well. Yeah, Jesus. I'm looking at the replay now. That should have been a foul. Too bad we can't review that. Why can't you review it? Well, we're allowed to review 1/10 of a second if that's going to be back, and if the ball hits a fingernail going out of bounds. But we can't review if an absolute collision happens on the most important play of the game as the thing goes in the buzzer, or the 1-point game. Can't do that. But Arbo's right. No one cares about the standings in the NBA anymore. Especially now that 10 teams make it with them. I mean, you have to actively be trying to miss the playoffs now with 10 teams per conference. That's 20 teams that make the fucking playoffs at least, or play in, whatever. It's insane. But, whatever. It's a TV product. That's all it is. Anyway, all right. So when we come back, I'll break down all Sweet 16 games, including 4 tonight, 4 tomorrow, and then we'll do some man in the boxes about. I got a few things I want to talk about, but first, let me tell you about Cut. I didn't even download a Cut thing. I should have, but I didn't. It's a peer-to-peer social betting platform. It's U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting is new and a better way to bet directly against your friends or other users on sports, politics, pop culture, whatever. Cut offers lower VIG, fully customizable odds. You can create your own bets, and it handles the payment side of things. So if you and your buddy differentiate between Carolina and Alabama, let's say you're friends with a shit-kicking Alabama murder-supporting basketball program, you could bet them on Cut, and then Cut will take care of the money. You know, that way when he owes you money after North Carolina kills them tonight, bad choice of words, I realize that, you won't have to shake him down for money once you see him on Instagram posting about his souped up lawnmower he got there with moonshine. Anyway, I'm getting as offensive as I possibly can to talk about Cut, which they probably don't appreciate. Social features equal group chats, betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, user profiles, blah, blah, blah. They also don't like when you say blah, blah, blah. Download Cut today in the App Store or go over to cut.com. That's K-U-T-T and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. You can find me on Cut. I'm the bet detective. Find all my bets there. Let me show the ticker. Yeah, bet detective. I'll put up all these Sweet 16 bombs I put up here. I'll put it up there. You can if you do disagree with me, go ahead and take me on. If you think you have the balls, I don't. My language can't get more offensive. Let me tell you about an underdog while I'm here, because now I got a promo code. This is important, degenerates. You already know Underdog's the easiest place to play fantasy sports online. It's the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. They have pick'em games. You go higher, lower. Pick player props. If you want to take, let's say you want Jonte Porter overs. You heard his eye injury got healthy. So you're like, let's take that over. I bet he's more inspired now. You take his higher, not overs, higher. I don't want to rustle up the lawyers. You sign up, you use my promo code. You ready? BOMBS. That's BOMBS. Use the promo code BOMBS and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as instant pick'em special. Go to underdogfantasy.com. Find them in the App Store. Don't forget to register with my promo code BOMBS. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Must be 18, present start state when Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ncpgambling.org. All right, now we are back. We can get rid of that. Yeah, if you do sign for Underdog, and I recommend you do, I'm on there. It's great. Use the promo code BOMBS. That helps me out. We're doing a contest to get people signed up, and they just gave me a late promo code, so I'm already behind the 8 ball. And I don't even care if I win this contest because I'm not going to. But if I can just get one C-Generate to sign and know I have an influence, know I'm doing something out there. I want Jonte Porter to come back, the Toronto Raptor, who was obviously in the fix. When people were hammering us under. That story is hilarious. That broke right during my Thursday bomb show or Monday bomb show. So I didn't get to talk about it. Let me talk about it real quick. Then we'll get into the Sweet 16 just because it's so funny. Jonte Porter, the brother of the Nuggets Porter, who's a lot better, apparently exists. Apparently plays in the NBA. And there was 2 games where people slammed his under, which raises a red flag. It's so funny. There's a screen grab of like the top 5 bet. And people love saying, well, that's what happens when you got legalized betting. Which, yes and no. One, legalized betting, they are opening up the prop market a lot bigger than what it was. But props didn't get invented with legalized gambling. This happened before. It's just not getting caught. It's because of legalized gambling that this got caught. Because they report this shit. They see that, wait a minute, something fishy about Jonte Porter being the number 1 prop bet above LeBron James. It's fishy because we don't know who the hell he is. And everyone's hammering his under for 2 rebounds or whatever it is. And then he left with an eye injury, Porter. You can't even fake a calf strain. You're going to go out with an eye injury? At least make an effort. I appreciate you, Yarb. I know you said he said I would bet detective, but you can't in Florida. Fair enough. Fair enough. But if Porter is allowed to come back, and he should be able to, but this is a bad scandal. This is a perfect NBA scandal because he's a nothing player, and they can just throw the book at him, and they're going to. He's never playing in the NBA again. But if he did come back, it would be great because I would hammer his overs, just like Temple. When Temple threw those games and then they went on a run and almost won the Atlantic 10 tournament or ACC, whatever it is, American Allegiance, who knows? I forget that conference name already. But and they were doing that 25th hour thing, the Spike Lee joint. When you're going out on the weekend, knowing you got to turn yourself into jail on Monday, like, all right, when this is over, we're going away for a long time. So let's have fun. Let's leave it all out there. And so all eyes would be on Porter, no pun intended. All eye injuries will be on Porter. And he'll crush that over 2.5 rebound number. Anyway, I'm just looking at the soundboard. It's great to be back here in the soundboard. I mean, I would play some Porter ladders. Since I am the laddie daddy. All right, let's get into these Sweet 16 bombs, right? Here in Los Angeles, the Crypto Arena is the first game. That makes sense. That's great. This is at 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock out here, Pacific. Good God. And there's a Dodger game at home at 1 o'clock. This is great. Who the fuck is scheduling these things? I'm already complaining about traffic, even though I don't even go that direction. But we have Clemson, Arizona is the first game. The line is 7, 152.5. It's going to be a huge Arizona crowd there. Clemson, they're one of these teams that nobody wants to see in this tournament. That like we just don't like them. ACC's been having a great tournament. They got blown out by Boston College in that first round game, and they lost by like 20 or something. And then since then, they've been amazing. There's only been like 5 seconds or something of game time where they haven't led. They had an impressive win last week versus Baylor. Chase Hall is their point guard. He had 0 points in that Boston College game. And then since then, he's been good down the stretch during the regular season. He's been turning on 2021. If he can keep it up, so that's why I think this comes down to the point guards. And I have a future on Arizona. I like Arizona. They should win this game. But Clemson is definitely alive, and 7 points is way too many. Boswell, Arizona's point guard, sophomore. When he's on, they're great. They're unstoppable. Offensively, they're unstoppable. But he's very inconsistent. And I think the way Clemson's been playing defense could give him problems. So they're very live. I'll sprinkle a little on the money line, 265, but we're going to go with Clemson +7, bomb it. And Arizona loves losing games like this. They could also win by 20. But I think the way Clemson's playing, and 7 points is just way too much. Another big point spread, of course, now we got UConn playing over in Boston versus San Diego State. UConn and Boston with UConn fans who are the worst fans, if you don't know, by the way. UConn fans are hell on earth. They're an underrated, terrible, terrible fan base. It all started with Gino Auriemma and Jim Cat. Oh my God. Stores, Connecticut is just a fucking wasteland in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, good program though. Can't deny that. And they are just a machine. They have no weaknesses whatsoever. San Diego State, a little overrated all year long. They're not the same team they were last year that went to the championship game and lost this game by 16, by the way. But they'd play them tough down the stretch. They were like tied. Like it was a close game with like 5 minutes to go. Line's 11.5. That's huge. But I'm going to lay it with UConn, even though you're playing a premium for Connecticut, because of Danny Hurley. He is such an asshole. He thinks them playing in Boston is a slight to them. What? Why? How is this a slight to you? Because they know that we're going to be around the neighborhood, and there's jerk Boston fans that give us it. San Diego State played the late game on Sunday. They had to go home after that after beating the piss out of Yale, and then fly all the way to Boston, which nobody likes to do. Dropkick Murphy song. To do the early Thursday game. They're going to get the living bejabbers beat out. You want to get in front of UConn right now? I do not. So I know there's value on San Diego State because the line should be 8 or 9 according to KenPom and whatnot. I don't give a shit. Danny Hurley is going to rub. He was furious when they were up 30 at halftime the other day. He's livid. Always. He's screaming at refs during the fucking Stetson game. These Hurleys are the Harbaughs of college basketball, but that's an insult to the Harbaughs. These guys are Jersey pricks. That being said, we're going to bomb UConn minus 11.5. So that's NC State. That's Clemson plus 7, UConn 11.5. Then we got Carolina versus Alabama. And this is a game I previewed there in the cut.com ad. Line's 4.5. What I don't like about this game, and this should be a fun game to watch, two talented offenses. Carolina plays a little bit of defense, though. 173.5 is a total. It's going to be a track meet. I hate this Alabama team. They're just a villain. I hate Nate Oates. He's the worst. He's just an evil coach. He's an evil human being. The only problem is everyone is on North Carolina. Everyone watched North Carolina run boat race Sparty, and everyone was on Sparty. This is a public play, which I don't like. That being said, Alabama has been trending the wrong way for a while. They were bad. They had an easy setup. They did beat my Grand Canyon team, but they tried to lose that. Grand Canyon fucked that up. And those refs just allowed the assault and battery, the prison brawl. This is gonna be a huge step up in class. Alabama, this might be. I kind of like Carolina by double digits here. The only problem is, no, I don't hear anyone take side for Alabama. So 4.5. Only Alabama could hide up a murder. Say wrong place, wrong time. That situation. I love that. That's what he said last year, right? Wrong place, wrong time, our players. The guys who gave him a gun, who killed him. A fucking single mother. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She was at a Alabama bar in front of an Alabama basketball player. That's the wrong place, wrong time. But that was last year. We don't have to talk about that. This year, they're even more jerks. But they've been trending the wrong way. The SEC has been abysmal in this tournament. ACC has been a surprise. They seem to be creaming the crop. That's all it comes down to. North Carolina minus 4.5. Pardon me. I should have hit the cough button. Speaking of this year's villain, this story hasn't been gotten that big yet because, well, quite frankly, the men's basketball has taken a backseat to the lady basketball all year. So as the Sweet 16 goes, and we got more favorites and more stories get a spotlight on them, you're going to see this, and that is Illinois and Terrence Shannon Jr. This is the best game of the day. Of tonight's 4 games. This is the best, most competitive game. Iowa State, Illinois. Iowa State's 1.5 right now. Is that what it is? This line's been moving. Let me hit a little reset on my Bet Online account here. And 1.5. Total's 147.5. That's interesting. It was 146.5, and that's a good movement because I like the over in this game. I do like the over in this game. I'll throw that out there right away, but I'll do a normal pick. Illinois looks amazing. Now, they did play, what did they play? Longwood and Duquesne, my Dukes, my alma mater. They beat the living bejabbers out of Duquesne. But that's okay. We'll be back. Duquesne will be back in another 47 years, even stronger than ever. We're rebuilding. Every 47 years, Duquesne pops their head out of the sand and says, hey, can we play in a tournament? And then someone like Illinois says, no, you can't. Get the fuck out of here. All right. We'll go back to the NIT. Thank you very much. Anyway, they look good. Iowa State, though, Illinois has an amazing offense. They don't play much defense. They've been playing defense recently, but they haven't had any competition. Iowa State has the number one defense. So it's a clash in styles. Duquesne had a good defense. They shut down BYU, but Illinois' ball movement was way, 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 way too much for them. Well, let's get into Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon Jr. is probably the best player in the country. His over-under is 21.5. I think I want to go over just because he is on a mission. He's also on a 25th hour mission. He knows once this season's over, he's got a courtroom to face. He got, I mean, good Lord. He got the R word allegation against him in Kansas earlier in December. He was at a bar. The story goes, he called the girl over and then he gave her a little whip, how's your father? And slipped his hand up her dress. Hello. I mean, what do you think this is, Terrence Shannon? Girls gone wild? They don't like that. In his defense, I'm just kidding. I'm not defending him. But, like, you know, he whistled her over. She came over. And he's like, well, what else do I need? You motioned over to a All-American basketball player. You know what that means? I give you a little sock puppet, a little Jeff Dunham, if you will. Anyway, they threw rape charges out, which, hello, that's also rough. He fought them. I don't think he's had his day in court yet. Illinois suspended him, so then he sued Illinois. That song is amazing. Then he sued Illinois, and then the judges actually sided with him. They're like, you're right. You haven't been found guilty of anything yet. You should be able to play because it's fucking up your chances to play in the NBA and your NIL money. NIL changes all that shit. So it's kind of funny. So their coach, they asked him, like, what do you think about playing him? He's like, well, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because he's charged with rape, but he also scores 30 a night. So I like that about him. I don't like the other part, but I like that part. You got other schools chanting no means no, all those Big Ten schools. I'm not going to say what he did was right, but there's got to be a lesser charge. And the judge even said if he can average 30 a night, they'll reduce the charges down to aggravated grabbing. But if you get less than 20 a night, immediate conviction. Right to jail you go. Fair enough. I think that's a fair job. Anyway, Terrence Shannon is playing on a goddamn mission. Now, I would normally like Iowa State here. They do lockdown defense. They're great. They do have the thing where they weren't ranked beforehand. I mean, I have them in my bracket, but like I said before, who gives a shit about your bracket? No one cares about your bracket. I don't want to hear about your bracket. Don't bet with your bracket. Your bracket's a fantasy land. Bets are bets. And Illinois right now they're just on a mission. Terrence Shannon is on a I don't want to go to jail mission, and that's going to happen as soon as this season's over with. So I like the over at 147.5. I got it at 146.5. If you like the over, you got to like Illinois. If you like the under, then you got to like Iowa State. That's how that works. It correlates it. So we're going to go Illinois plus the 1.5. Bomb it. There it is. There's all 4 Thursday games. That's Illinois plus 1.5, UNC minus 4.5, UConn minus 11.5, and Clemson plus 7. Now let me tell you about Hall of Fame bets, and let me put up a thing that says Hall of Fame bets so you can read it and not look at my face and my jacket and my Phillies hat. There it is. All right. Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger and better by Win bigger by betting smarter this NBA season with Hall of Fame bets. The sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NBA and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into the Hall of Fame bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Stop betting in the dark Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we're back. On the Bottom Line Bombs, I am the bet detective, your host, the man in the box. Knocking back to Starbucks. No drink is safe with me. So some listeners, some C-Generate said that the other day. It was kind of hilarious. Because I had a spitter. I'm still spitting and still drinking. Still drinking and still spitting from this illness. But we're getting through. Thank you, everyone who is live here watching on the YouTube in the chat. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, please. Hit the like button. Keep this thing going. Keep things going in people's feeds. Get that algorithms. Subscribe, of course, to the Bottom Line Bombs, the one show you're listening to right now or watching on the personal feed on Spotify or iTunes. I need all those. Follow me on Instagram at CJ Sullivan was taken, on X at CJ Sullivan _. I'll do some show plugs at the end before I do the man in the box. Well, let's get to these Friday games. The Friday bombs. Now, to be honest with you, C-Generates, I like the Friday bombs a lot better than the Thursday bombs. The Illinois game I have the least confidence in. That's a tough game to play. UNC I like. I don't like how it's public. UConn, I'm taking it just because it's fucking UConn. Clemson, I like Clemson, but I know I can definitely see Arizona pulling away there at the end just because they have the home crowd. But these Friday games I like a lot. Let's start off. These are good games. Gonzaga, Purdue. This is in Detroit, I believe. Is that what this is? 4:00 start out here. Line's 5.5, 154.5. Did you see that thing on Twitter where there's like pictures of the Gonzaga team buses coming in and they're like, some MAGA guys like, look at these migrant filthy aliens coming in by the busload. And it was Gonzaga's team buses. Hilarious. Anyway, Gonzaga's hot right now. How can you not take Gonzaga in this game? Easily. Because Purdue is also very hot. They're going to have a problem with Edey. That's for sure. 7'4" monster of Purdue. Gonzaga doesn't have anyone over 6'10", I think, or 6'8". I don't know what it is. They're going to have problems with them. They're going to have to double them. And if they double them, they're going to kick it out for threes, and it's all going to come down if those Purdue guards play well or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. When they do, you're in trouble. And I can easily see Purdue. They played earlier in the season. Purdue won by 10. But that was a different Gonzaga team. This is a completely different Gonzaga team. This is a Gonzaga team that's peaking at the right time. Usually Gonzaga wins like 30 games during the season and they fall apart. But here they're kind of not bad during the regular season, but weren't as good as they usually are. But they figured things out and they're peaking and they're playing. They're kind of under the radar. Offensively, they look amazing. 154.5 is is a big total. I'll take that over though. I mean, I think it's gonna be a lot of points in this game. Mark Few has been hilarious. Mark Few, the coach of Gonzaga, who I trust. I trust him a lot more than I trust Matt Painter. That's for sure. He's been like the voice of the little guy. He's been standing up for the Long Beach coach who got fired, Long Beach State coach who got fired before the end of the regular season, but they let him coach out the tournament. And he's like, what they did, which way what they did, and it was pretty messed up. Just like fire him. Wait till the season's over, then fire him. Why? Don't fire him and say, hey, you can still go to work if you want. Which he did. Then they won the conference tournament. Then they lost by 20 to Arizona. But the way Mark Few's talking about, like he's playing for free, or he did as a Long Beach coach as a joke. Like I'm not getting paid for this. I'm like George Costanza. But when Mark Few was talking about him not having insurance, that's when I was like, okay, you're making this up. I mean, what they did was terrible. His kids don't have any insurance. If his kids get sick this week, he doesn't have any insurance because they fired him. What? That's not how that works. That is completely illegal. Stop making that up. No, I'm telling you, he had to get on the Cobra system. That's not how firing works. They just don't renew you for the next year. You still have your benefits. It's not like put your shit in a box, get out of here, hit the streets. Anyway, point is, Gonzaga just looks too good on offense for 5.5. And who are we talking about with Purdue? Congratulations, Purdue. You got to the Sweet 16. You finally did it as a 1 seed. Congratulations. But now you're taking a huge step up in class. This isn't Utah State. This is Gonzaga. Spokane. They love correcting you that it's Spokane and not Spokane. They also like doing fentanyl. I go to Spokane quite often. I go there once a year. They have a good comedy club. Shout out to the Spokane Comedy Club up there. It's a beautiful town. But yeah, they're all in fentanyl. I mean, they're not alone. The whole country is. That's what you find out when you go to these small towns, that everyone's on opiates. Everyone has a problem. So don't tell me how to pronounce your city's name and get yourself in a clinic and get help. That being said, we like your basketball team, plus 5.5. Bomb it. Oh, I'm just looking at some of the sound bites here that I could be doing. That girl's gone wild. Doesn't get better than that. There's the lock it up small dog. It's for a yapper. Gonzaga is a small dog. I'll also take them on the money line too. What are they? They're plus 195 on the money line. Why not? When I'm taking dogs here, you always sprinkle on the money line because they definitely can win outright. Though 5.5's a lot. This one, next game, I like a lot. This is my favorite money line dog, small dog, like we just did. A little yapper, a little ankle biter. Creighton, Tennessee. Line is 3. 144 is the total. Money line is plus 133. I love Creighton plus 3. Money line plus 133. I think they win this game outright. Tennessee is a team that was top 10 all year. Defense, offense. But Rick Barnes is abysmal. He collapses and chokes all the time. And we've immediately forgot about it because they got to the Sweet 16. They beat St. Pete. They got blown out their last 2 games during the regular season and the conference tournament. Then they beat St. Peter's. I'm like, oh, all's right in the world. Then they barely beat a horrible Texas team, even though we had Texas plus 6.5. That score was like 12-11. It was a fucking nightmare to watch. I just looked at my picture on my thumbnail of the Sweet 16. I put up Sweet 16 stuff with like Sweet 16. Remember that Sweet 16 show on MTV? And it's me being a scumbag with these girls in a limo. In lieu of the Puff Daddy news, that might be inappropriate. Anyway, point is, Creighton, they should have been in the Final Four last year. They lost to San Diego State on a terrible foul call the second to go. And they're on a mission. They got lucky versus Oregon. Trust me, I was on Oregon. Terrible bad beat. If you had them plus the points, probably the bad beat of the tournament, the double overtime loss. But Creighton, sometimes you need to get through that to go further up to the. And Creighton seems like they're just a white businessmen. They do business trips. If you ever seen the movie Cedar Rapids, whatever, when you just go to that hotel or wherever it is and you just do a business trip, conference, you go in the pool, you fuck a coworker, you have your continental breakfast. You have a nice hotel continental breakfast. That's what Creighton does. They're up in time for the continental breakfast at a hotel, which Marines can't even get up for. And God, they love breaking it down. 9:30, sorry, they're fucking shoving those cereal machines back in there, leave out there. I mean, they breaking down the trays. Good Lord, can you leave this open I'm in a hotel. I'm sleeping in. But when Creighton's hitting their shots, they're hitting their shots. That's a dumb statement. I just realized as I said it out loud. When they're hitting their shots, they're hitting their shots. Really? That's smart. It's smart, CJ. What the hell does that even mean? They're good when they're not hitting their shots. They have no chance. When they are hitting their shots, they can beat anybody. I wanted to say something of that much. Is that going to work out?
It ain't gonna work, buddy.
All right. Well, you know what I'm saying, Kim. I'm saying I don't believe this Tennessee team. I don't believe Rick Barnes. I believe in this Creighton team. They're on a mission. This whole Big East was 9. So we're going to bomb Creighton +3 and the money line +130. I don't even mind a little Creighton Gonzaga money line parlay. What does that pay? Let me toss that in there real quick. Gonzaga Creighton money line parlay. That would pay you. That's almost 6 to 1. +587. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, toss that in there for my degenerates. You're welcome. That's an easy one. All right, let's get to the 2 late games and let's go to the box. Houston Duke. This is a game we need out of you, Houston. We need this. We cannot have Duke, and we can't have this Duke team winning. They look good. They looked a little too good. We were all on James Madison, and then Duke pissed right in our faces with their collars popped up. Nothing grosser than that. 5 minutes into it, oh God, this is going to get ugly, isn't it? This is a Duke party. It sure was. But this is a step up in class. This is a different style with Houston. They play prison rules. The line's -4, and we're going to take Houston here, the 1 seed, who did a perfect Houston game last game where they choked away an 11-point, 13-point lead to A&M and went to overtime, and then with 1 starter somehow came out with a win. They're tough. The problem is they're not deep. So if they get into foul trouble, which they might, it depends on how they call this game, especially with Flopowski, as Moneyline Mac calls him. I call him Nancy Kerrigan, the Duke player who has said, why? When are we going to change the court storming? We need to change. And then he goes and trips some guy. He's so disingenuous. We need to change. When are things going to change around here? He was like Nancy Kerrigan's why. I should play that. Or I should probably set that up before I do it, not just say things out loud like, oh, I should do that. What a donkey I am.
It's Dominic the donkey.
See, I like soundbite words where I know what they are. I know what the soundbite words are. Yeah, that Girls Gone Wild is pretty good. E. Arbo says, keep that in the pocket moving forward. It is a good one. I like a nice long one. Anyway. Houston -4 versus Nancy Kerrigan's. I think they will out tough Duke. This, like I said, I don't like to bet with the heart or what we want to see happen, but this is definitely one we just need to happen. We need Houston to win this, so bomb it. Plus, yeah, I mean, Duke might have got things figured out. They also had 2 relatively soft opponents as well. James Madison was a very good team, but seed-wise, they were a softer opponent. I mean, Duke was a mess. Duke, before this tournament, Duke hasn't won since like February 2nd. So hopefully they revert to that. Nothing like hoping. Now here comes the last game is the toughest game besides the Iowa-Illinois State game for me to handicap. Marquette, NC State. The line is 6.5 with Marquette favored. A 151 total. I like the over, by the way, 151. This NC State team, are they magical? They're that 11 seed. They're that Syracuse. They're the old NC State team. They were terrible all year, but now they've, there's nothing fluky about it. They're making a run. They got that DJ Burns Jr., the 300-pounder. I love anytime there's a hefty, if you will, athlete that catches the hearts of America, and announcers, they think they're being funny and they're doing nothing but fat jokes, thinking, you'll like this, right? And they don't realize how offensive they are. Rich Eisen was interviewing me the other day. He's like, hey, when'd you gain the weight? And he's like, what? Because the guy is 23 years old. If you haven't watched his DJ Barnes play, he's like Dimitri Hill or Escalade. He's a big guy, but he's great. He does everything. Actually, he doesn't even rebound. That's what I like about him. He's a monster out there you can't move him, And he refuses to rebound, even though he didn't have 9 rebounds last game. That's just because Oakland shots, they hit the rim and came right to his gut, as I do with the joke. After the game last night, the fucking announcer interviewing him, cursing for nothing, an announcer for no reason, for after the game, gives him a bowl of ice cream live during the post-game interview. Hey, congratulations on winning and going to Sweet 16. Here's a bowl of ice cream. You're fat. You'll love it, right? Hey, fatty, eat the ice cream. It helps you get stronger. It's your spinach, right? It's your Popeye spinach, but for fat people. And he like immediately put it away. Like, yeah, I don't want this. I don't want a bowl of fucking ice cream. I'm not in the movie Heavyweights from the 80s. Tommy says Audi Cooks is the #1 hefty athlete in America. She's a lady cyclone for Iowa State who did get bounced. She was great. I love that. Audi Cooks was awesome. She sets herself down low and she ain't getting budged. That's what, when I think of lady sports like that, like in high school, that's what I remember. Like the biggest girl, just put the biggest girl out there. Don't move her. Field hockey was big in my high school, and this girl like Pat McGinty, she's a big girl. She was the goalie, and she was great. And she had a shirt that said, "Only Jesus saves more than McGinty." Always loved that. Anyway, shout out to Pat McGinty. That being said, and I've been on this NC State run. I've told Dundee and all these guys who hate NC State, I go, you need to submit. You need to surrender. This team's going to the Final Four. There's no stopping it. It's inevitable. And this Marquette team does look vulnerable. That Western Kentucky game was not, even though they won by 18 somehow. They're down 8, 11. The Colorado game, that was a tough game, but Colorado's good. I've gone back and forth on this. I bet on NC State. They are live. +6.5 is a great play. But there is something with these Big East teams. Marquette and Creighton. UConn, of course, in their own class of their own. They feel like they have unfinished business from last year. Tyler Kolek, he looked good last week. He looked like he was back. I hate to make this play. This is my least confident play of the draft. NC State seems like the obvious. NC State seems like the obvious play here. Take the 6.5 and sprinkle a little money line. But the way Marquette can just run you out, and I just don't think NC State's going to have the offense to keep up. We're going to bomb Marquette -6.5 for the final bomb. So just to sum up, C-Generates, and this is for the tout video that I make afterwards. 8-0 last year. So I can put it in a row so it's easy editing because I hate editing. If you ever watch my Man in the Box videos, I do a lot of those with the second captions and jokes. It's a nightmare, and I get extremely frustrated. I throw things, I smash things. I am a dumb man when it comes to editing. I hate fucking editing. Anyway. All 8 bombs. Tonight we have Clemson +7. UConn -11.5. UNC -4.5. Illinois +1.5. Bomb those. Friday we have Gonzaga +5.5. Sprinkle up money line. 195. Creighton +3 as my bomb of the day. Bomb of the tournament weekend, at least. +3. Creighton +3. Money line +133. Houston -4 and Marquette -6.5. Bomb all of them. And 2 bonus totals. The over in Illinois, Iowa State tonight, 147.5. I have, and Marquette, NC State 151. I like those overs more than I like those games. I don't like those sides, but I gotta take them. But I do like both totals. All right, now let's get to the box. All right, welcome to the box. As you see, my baseball cap on for opening day. I did my baseball show yesterday. You can still subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs. Listen to that. We got futures. I have Kevin Bozeman on there. Great guest. He is the best balling with Bozeman. We chopped it up a bit. I did some funny Shohei Ohtani takes. I'm not going to go over the Shohei Ohtani takes again, but that story, like I said yesterday, I hope that story continues all year long. I can't get enough of that Shohei Ohtani story. It's just great. It's just amazing. Just to recap real quick. I just love how he came out with the story and then they said, scratch that. We got another story we want to go with. Started off with, you know what? My interpreter lost a lot of money gambling. Shohei paid it off. Nothing to see here. Then they're like, oh, that's illegal. Forget we said that. Forget we said that. All right, how about this? How's this work? How about he stole the money from us and Shohei had no clue? Yeah, that's right. He wired it from his account. Is that? And yep, the bank never contacted me. We just put the cash in a Monopoly box, duct taped it, and shipped it to a illegal bookie in fucking Barstow. Does that work out?
It ain't gonna work, buddy.
All right, fine. We'll come up with a different story. We got plenty of time. We can come up with a third story. No problem with whatsoever. Anyway, let's talk about some other things. We talked about Jonte Porter. I haven't talked TV in a while. I tried to watch the new Roadhouse last night. I watched half of it, which is pretty good for me. That's usually what I do with movies anyway. I watch half, I watch 20 minutes of it, and it takes me like a week to watch it. And I have no problem with it, you know? It's so much easier to watch it if you know you don't have to finish it. You got plenty of time. That's why I like when people complain that movies are too long, whatever. Movies are as long as you want them to be now. You control the projector. I mean, obviously, if you go to the theater, it's a different story. But now, wait 2 weeks, you have it in your house streaming live. Some of them go right there. So you control it. Don't watch the whole fucking thing. I got all week. Like when The Irishman came out during the pandemic, that was great. 4 hours, perfect. That was the best month of my life. I mean, this will take me a month to watch. And it did. Fell asleep to it every night. 20-minute clips. I don't remember a thing except for the awful graphics. So far, Roadhouse doesn't have the best graphics either, but whatever. I'm into it. So I won't have I'll give a full Roadhouse review later on. I did watch, though, speaking of being too long, the Nickelodeon series. What's that called? Quiet on the Set. The Dark Tales of Child Actors. And, there was a lot of hype around it coming out. So I thought it was going to be a documentary. That's what it used to be. Now, like everything, it's got to be a series. 4-hour-long episodes of 45 minutes. I don't need 4 fucking episodes of these Nickelodeon pedophiles. As I look at that picture of me with the Sweet 16 girls on the speaking of pedos, that's a Nickelodeon shot there, right there. Your man in a box with teenage girls. That's not a good look, but it's funny. Yeah. So obviously there's upsetting stuff in there. That guy, Dan Schneider, he had a bad week. He was the guy from Head of the Class. He was that guy in Head of the Class. And then he became the showrunner for Nickelodeon, which is already, it's a red flag. If you're the moneymaker, I tell you what, though, that's an old genre. The Lou Pearlmans of the world, people who make millions off the backs of child labor laws, and then they have creepy pedophilia. We used to let it go as far for stardom. Anyway, the footage is not good. So we don't need 4 episodes. Then you have stuff like, there's a racial stuff. Why does the black guy got to be the drug dealer? It's all adult humor. They were complaining how it was adult humor for, there were kids sketch shows. It was like Kids Saturday Live, all of that. That's the thing with Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon doesn't really hit my generation. I'm like one generation older than those shows of like Salute Your Shorts and whatever the fucking Amanda Bynes show. I grew up on You Can't Do That on Television and Double Dare. I did like Double Dare, of course. I mean, I watched Nickelodeon as a kid. Not the shows where this guy Schneider was just raping kids. He wasn't raping kids, but he would do like the evidence is pretty bad if you watch it. You look back at the skits and there's like all these over sexualized jokes. You have Ariana Grande jerking off a potato and squirting a water bottle over her face. It's nothing but cum shot jokes. You're like, who is this for? Because kids don't get that. I mean, it's only for the guy, the teamsters behind the cameras and shit, or him jerking off in the editing room. I mean, it is creepy. That's for sure. A lot of feet too. That's another red flag. Anytime they make kids show their feet or girls show their feet, hello. You might want to get a timeout going with that. But yeah, Amanda Bynes, Ariana Grande. Then there was I mentioned Double Dare with Mark Summers because there is a thing like that where Mark Summers, who was the host of Double Dare, he comes in and he doesn't know anything about this. He thinks they're just doing a documentary on Nickelodeon. Like, oh, let me just tell you about how he came up with sliming people, and jumping into the gunk. And he just thinks they're going to talk about a fun retrospect. Then someone hands him an iPad. That's a new thing in documentaries where they hand you the iPad. Look at this footage. And it was Ariana Grande basically fucking squirting lotion all over her fucking underdeveloped cleavage. And he's like, Jesus Christ, did this air on Nickelodeon? Like, yep, sure did. Oh, well, I didn't have anything to do with this. Can I get out of here, please? I think I need to leave. And he did. God bless Mark Summers. Anyway, it's worth a watch, especially if you grew up in that generation, which I imagine a bunch of C-generates did, and probably slightly younger than me. That's another one thing. First couple, and then there's that Drake Bell. He got flat out raped. I hate to laugh at that one, but oh boy, he got flat out gay raped by the makeup guy. And then that was another big thing. A lot of celebrities came out and wrote letters in his defense. And they have not apologized. But Good Burger was a good show. Kids' Choice Awards, it was well worth it for all the incredible entertainment Nickelodeon gave us. Like the Drake and fucking whatever Josh sketch show, and the Amanda Bynes show, and all that. Whatever other fucking nonsense. Yeah, they are. Cancel culture's attacking old Nickelodeon. I want the Disney expose. Come on. I mean, their whole business plan was about sliming kids and sliming their face. What do you think it is? Sliming is just a money shot reference, a green alien money shot reference. Anyway. All right, that's going to do it for the box. Let me get out of there before I'm talking about coming on children even some more, because this is a sports gambling show. Oh, these shows get away from me so much. I don't know what I'm doing there. Oh, boy. Anyway, thank you for joining us on the Sweet 16 Bombs edition of the show. Good luck with the Sweet 16 and baseball, whatever you want to do. Like I said, subscribe to the show. 2 quick plugs. If you're in the Los Angeles area, Sunday night, Easter Sunday, I'll be hosting the Blackout Diary show, which is a drinking storytelling show at the bar Escondite, which is downtown in Skid Row. It's a drinking storytelling show based on the podcast that I also do with my buddy Sean Flannery, who invented the show out in Chicago. It's a great show. Great comics on the lineup. Deborah DiGiovanni, Megan Gailey, who are both hilarious. David Hellum, who's hilarious, who actually worked for speaking of which, he worked for I want to say Soleil Moon Frye. One of those girls from the Cosby Show grew up and she's like an empire. So I don't know if that was Nickelodeon or whoever it was. Maybe I'll ask him about that. Anyway, come out Sunday night to that, 7:00 Easter Sunday, if you're a heathen. Also, if you're in the Milwaukee area, April 19th, that weekend at the Laughing Tap. All weekend, I'll be headlining at the Laughing Tap. Come on out, buy some tickets. I'm going to need your support out there. Other than that, it's been great. You guys are the best. See, Generates. And I'll give you a little video theme song to get myself out of here. And I wonder if these plugs that I do at the end of the show works and it gets people to show up. Kim Mulkey, what do you think?
It ain't gonna work, buddy.
Now I gotta try anyway. All right, see you guys.